So let's go ahead and start applying our constraints, right? So let's start with velum configure cloth. We'll need two of them, one for the shirts and one for the trousers. So we'll just connect these up, and we want, so this is the collider going into the left port, and then the shirt and the trousers together, sorry, the top and bottom going into the geometry. Okay, so we'll start with the trousers, or bottoms as we've called them, and let's see, so yeah, everything here we can leave as default. Density you don't need to worry too much about, and edge length, the thickness, right, it's kind of as of 2018, as of Houdini 18, this calculates varying and uniform here. The thickness works out kind of well for us. What we do need to look at is the stretch stiffness. Okay, I'm going to bump that up to 10, so it's super stiff. I don't want any kind of bending on that. Compression stiffness, I'm going to bump that up as well, so I don't want it kind of collapsing in on itself. It should help to give us some wrinkles, this. And the bend stiffness, I'm going to bring that down to, how many zeros do I have there? 5. So 0.00001. Okay, and that's it for the trousers, I think, for now. Let's put, keep calling them trousers, but we call them bottoms. Bottoms. Good. Make sure we connect up the constraints there and the collision geometry, so this will kind of filter through. You know, if we forget to connect these up, then we won't have these constraints later on. Okay, so make sure to connect all three. Even if you don't have, if you're not generating constraints here, or if you don't have collision geometry, it's not going to cause a problem if you do. Also, just to make you aware that you can, you know, do things here. So if I want to add attributes to the constraints there, right, I can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now here I have access to the constraints that I've built. Why am I seeing those? Some kind of viewport error there. I'm seeing these points, but I have access to these constraints now, and I can you know, do whatever I want. As long as I set this to primitives, I'll be able to do things to these attributes, right? So changing the stiffness, you know, whatever I want. Cool. So let's do this next one on the top. So let's find the group first of all, which was top. Oh, shirts, yeah. It's not a shirt, the jacket. I keep calling it shirts as well. And yeah, everything here. Oh, again, probably, yeah, I'll do the same. So very, I don't want it to be stretchy at all. So, not -10, +10. So the compression stiffness, I don't want the polygons collapsing in on themselves. Again, this should hopefully help to give us some more kind of crinkly details. And then this, I'm going to bring this down to 1e -7. So that's a 1 with a point 0 with 7 zeros, and then a 1, I think, is the result of this. Cool, that should be fine for that. Now, oh, one thing I did forget to do, okay, is up here, I want to generate a group for the shirt. I'm going to call it the, you know, the shirt body. Primitives fine. It's not a shirt. Stop calling it shirt. Top body. And let's do a bounding region. Bring it over and up. Just under the sleeves. I don't want the sleeves in the group. Something like that. So I'll explain a bit about why I'm doing this. So I want the shirt to be a bit tighter around the shirt. I want the jacket to hold a little bit tighter around the body, because we're going to be the part around the waist is not going to be simulated when it comes to the crocodile attack itself, right? So this part will be inside the mouth, and it's not going to be animated or simulated. So I want it to be tight against the body, so we don't have a weird gap where, you know, because the cloth should be pressed into the body. So I'm going to create some constraints and pull them closer to the body now while we're doing this drape. Okay, so I'll set that up here with, or we use a vellum attached to geometry there at the top. Okay, connect that up. We can see by default it's kind of just doing it everywhere. It's connecting all of my vellum geometry onto my collision geometry, but I only want the shirt body. It should be here. Is that not coming through? Top body, I called it. There we go. So you can see it's showing us where it's generating the constraints there. Okay, and I want I don't want these to be super stiff, but quite stiff. And then here I'm going to change the rest length scale just a little bit to 0.8. So if we can go inside here, maybe it's kind of hard to see, but you can see these lines. So there's a constraint between the shirt and the body. There's a line there, and it has a rest length, right? So if I set that to lower than what it is now, then it's going to kind of tighten up around the body. Okay, hopefully you'll see it. And it's not going to be like rubber or spandex or super tight or anything, but it should help the jacket to cling to the body a bit better. Good. Another vellum attach we need for the trousers. So let's drop that in there. Oh, I shouldn't be naming these as we go. Top, top, body, and this will be the belt. Okay, so that his trousers don't fall down, which will be very embarrassing for him. So for the belt, it was a point group. So find, I believe it was a point group, wasn't it? Let's see. Up here, sorry. Set this to points, to belt. I just clicked that by accident, press enter. Belt, there we go, and hopefully we should see, it's not only the belts but the bottom as well, but that's okay. I want these to kind of be pulled down a bit because otherwise they'll tend to ride up on the geometry there. Okay, so yeah, drop that in there. Stretch stiffness, that's okay. I think we can leave, you know, this by the rest of it on default. Cool. And then last but not least, very important, vellum weld. So just by default, it's kind of nice that it does this. You don't have to set up the groups or anything. It's looking at points. I believe it's either using, so I think we get groups from the edge factor. Yeah, we get these original points and new point groups, but you don't even have to use them because it, you know, it seems to do it automatically for you. So it's connecting up these points. Now this, so I can explain, because it could cause problems for you. We're not actually making any constraints here. What we're doing is telling the solver that each point on these points should be considered one. They're not. They're still two separate points now. Okay, later we will fuse them together. But they'll be treated as one point. So wherever this point, there's two, you know, overlapping points there. Whenever the solver moves this one, the other one will move with it. So it's doing that, but it's also, if you look at these white kind of stitches going over the top, these are bend constraints. Yeah, we can see here we're adding bend constraints across the weld, and we're copying the stiffness of whatever's around there, so we don't see any weird creases in the body. Okay, which all coming together will give us nice ripping textures. If we were to just have constraints between there, we'd probably see the gap. We notice that, you know, it's not one piece of cloth. Using a weld makes it seem like one continuous piece of cloth, right? So I believe that's all our constraints set up. We can drop a vellum solver, and in the next video we'll take a look at how that turns out.